Act 2, Scene 5, Arcadia. Bernard reading his proposed theory. Starting, did it happen? Could it happen? Down to a long day's ride to the northwest lay Sidley Park, the estate of the Coverleys, a far grander family raised by Charles II to the earldom of Croom. Hannah enters briskly, a piece of paper in her hand. Do you mind? Hannah! She's so rude. Bernard's reading us his lecture. What is this? Hannah, shut up. It's all right. I'll read it to myself. No. Byron continues to read. The Byrons of Newstead in 1809 comprised an eccentric widow, ... vulgar hectoring monster of a mother. Hannah's hand goes up. Overruled, ... Byron's friend and Harrow, at Harrow and Trinity College. Hannah's hand goes up. Sustained, ... But as we know, the drama of life and death at Sidley Park was not about pigeons and sex. Not about pigeons, but about sex and literature. Unless you were the pigeon. I don't have to do this. I'm paying you a compliment. Ignore him, Bernard. Go on, get to the duel. Hannah's not even paying attention. Oh, thanks. Hannah! Yes, sorry, Bernard. Please, Bernard. Where was I? Pigeons. Sex. Life and death, right. Nothing could have been more eloquent than that of the 3 documents I have quoted. The terse demand to settle a matter in private, the desperate scribble of my husband as sent for pistols, and on April 11th the gauntlet thrown down by the aggrieved and cuckolded author Ezra Chater. The covers have not survived. What is certain is that all 3 letters were in Byron's possession when the book was sold in 1816, preserved in the page of the Couch of Eros, which 7 years earlier, at Sidley Park, Byron had borrowed from Septimus Hodge. I will be taking questions at the end. Constructive comments will be welcome, which is indeed my reason for trying out in the provinces before my London opening under the auspices of the Byron Society prior to publication. By the way, Valentine, do you want the credit? The game book recently discovered by... It was never lost, Bernard. As recently pointed out by... I don't normally like giving credits where it's due, but with scholarly articles, as with divorce, there's a certain cachet in citing a member of the aristocracy. I'll pop in an ad-lib for the lecture and give you a mention in the press release. How's that? Very kind. That comes later with the apparatus, and in the recognised tone, very dry and very modest, absolutely goat-free, and yet unmistakably, eat your heart out, you dozy bastards. But first, it's Media Don, book early to avoid disappointment. Where was I? Game book. Eros. Right. Borrowed from Septimus Hodge. Is it conceivable that letters were already in the book when Byron borrowed it? Yes. Shut up, Val. Well, it's conceivable. Is it likely that Hodge would have lent Byron the book without first removing the 3 private letters? Look, sorry, I only meant Byron could have borrowed the book without asking. Then why wouldn't Hodge get them back? That's right, you bloody weren't. Go on, Bernard. It is the 3rd document, the challenge itself, that convinces Chater, as a man and a poet, points the finger at his slanderer in the press. Neither as a man nor a poet did Ezra Chater cut such a figure to be habitually slandered or even mentioned in the press. It is surely indisputable that the slanderer was the reviewer of the Maid of Turkey in the Piccadilly Recreation. Did Septimus Hodge have any connection with the London periodicals? No. Did Byron? Yes, he had reviewed Wordsworth 2 years earlier. He was to review Spenser 2 years later. Do we have any clue as to Byron's opinion of Chater the poet? Yes. Who but Byron could have written the 4 lines pencil into Lady Croom's copy of English Bards and Scotch Reviewers? Darling. Dickhead, then. Is it likely that the man Chater calls his friend Septimus Hodge is the same man who screwed his wife and kicked the shit out of his last book? You've been deeply wounded in the past, haven't you, Hannah? Run up and stand up. Exactly. But he killed the author. Let us get lost. Thank you, exactly. There is a platonic letter which confirms everything, lost but ineradicable, like radio voices rippling through the universe for all eternity. My dear Hodge, by this time I should be shuffling papers. My dear Hodge, here am I in Albania, ... What a tragic business, but thank God it ended well for poetry. Yours ever, B. P.S. Burn this. How did Chater find out the reviewer was Byron? I don't know. I wasn't there, was I? You wish to say something? I know. Byron told Mrs. Chater in bed. Next day he dumped her, so she grasped on him and pleaded date rape. Date rape? What do you mean, date rape? Right, forget it. No, I've had nothing but sarcasm and childish interruptions. What did I do? No credit for probably the most sensational literary discovery of the century. I think you're jolly unfair. They're jealous, Bernard. Yes, go on, Bernard, we promise. Well, only if you stop feeding tortoises. Well, it's just lunchtime, and on condition that I am afforded the common courtesy of a scholar among scholars, after which any comments will be couched in terms of accepted academic respect. Making a big show of putting his pages away. Bernard. Last paragraph. Without question, Ezra Chater issued a challenge to somebody if a duel was fought in the Dawn Mist of City Park in April 1809. His opponent, on the evidence, was a critic with a gift for ridicule and a taste for seduction. Do we need look far? Without question, Mrs. Chater was a widow by 1810. If we seek the occasion of Ezra Chater's early and unrecorded death, do we need look far? Without question, Lord Byron, in the very season of his emergence as a literary figure, quit the country in a cloud of panic and mystery and stayed abroad for 2 years at a time when constant travel was unusual and dangerous. If we seek his reason, do we need look far? Significant silence. Well, I think it's true. But he didn't go, did he? Everything moved more slowly then. Time was different. He was 2 weeks in Falmouth waiting for the wind or something. Actually, Bernard, as a scientist, your theory is incomplete. But I'm not a scientist. No, as a scientist. I've yet to hear a proper argument. Byron! You've never understood him as you've shown in your novelette. Oh, sorry. Did you think it was a work of historical revisionism? Byron, the spoilt child, promoted beyond his gifts by the spirit of the age, and Caroline, the closet intellectual, shafted by male society. I read that somewhere. And bloody well said, too. You got them backwards, darling. Caroline was romantic, waffle on wheels with no talent, and Byron was an 18th century rationalist touched by genius, and he killed Chater. I intend to. Look to the mote in your own eye. You even had the wrong bloke on the dust jacket. What about my computer model? Aren't you going to mention it? It's inconclusive. The Piccadilly reviews aren't a very good fit with Byron's other reviews, you see. The other reviews aren't a very good fit for each other, are they? No, but differently. The parameters... Parameters! You can't stick Byron's head in your laptop. Genius isn't like your average grouse. Well, it's all trivial anyway. What is? Who wrote what when? Trivial? Personalities. I'm sorry, did you say trivial? It's a technical term. Not where I come from, it isn't. The questions you're asking don't matter, you see. It's like arguers who got there with calculus. Did the English say Newton? Did the Germans say Leibniz? But it doesn't matter. Personality is what matters is the calculus. Scientific progress, knowledge. Really? Why? Why what? Why does scientific progress matter more than personalities? Is he serious? Do yourself a favour, you're on a loser. Oh, you're going to zap me with penicillin and pesticides. Spare me that and I'll spare you the bomb and aerosols. But don't confuse progress with perfectibility. A great poet is always timely. A great philosopher is an urgent need. There's no rush for Isaac Newton. We were quite happy with Aristotle's cosmos. Personally, I preferred it. 55 crystal spheres geared to God's crankshaft is my idea of a satisfying universe. I can't think of any more trivial than the speed of light. Quarks, quasars, big bangs, black holes. Who gives a shit? How do people con us out of all that stage, all that money? And why are you so pleased with yourselves? Are you against penicillin, Bernard? Don't feed the animals. I'd push the lot of you over cliff myself, except the one in the wheelchair. I think I'd lose a sympathy vote before people had time to think it through. If knowledge isn't self-knowledge, it isn't doing much, mate. Is the universe expanding? Is it contracting? Is it standing on one leg and singing when father painted the parlour? Leave me out. I can expand my universe without you. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. There you are. You wrote it after coming home from a party. What is it that you're doing? With Grouse Valentine? I'd love to know. He's not against penicillin, and he knows I'm not against poetry. I've given up on the grouse. I can't do it. Too much noise. There's just too much bloody noise. You bastard, Bernard. Yes, I'm sorry about that. It's no fun when it's not amongst pros, is it? Oh well. Do you want to know about your book jacket? Lord Byron and Caroline Lamb at the Royal Academy, ink study by Henry Fuseli? It's not them. This Fuseli expert in the Byron Society Journal, they sent me the latest as a distinguished guest speaker. Popular tradition only. Here we are. No earlier than 1820. He analysed it. Read it at your leisure. Charming sketch, of course, but Byron was in Italy. How? Language. Oh, gut instinct, you mean. Well, it's all trivial, isn't it? Why don't you come? With me. What for? Oh no, bugger that, sex. You should try it. It's very underrated. Yes, you have. You should let yourself go a bit. You might have written a better book, or at any rate the right book. Ah well, yes, men all over. It takes a romantic to make a heroine of Caroline Lamb. You will cut out for Byron. Pause. Oh, I'm coming back for the dance, you know. Chloe asked me. No, I'm going with her. I'm her date. Sub Rosa, don't tell mother. No, I don't want her mother to know. This is my first experience with land aristocracy. I tell you, I'm boggle-eyed. Seduced her. Every time I turn around, she was up a library ladder. In the end, I gave in. That reminds me. I spotted something between her legs that made me think of you. The Peaks Traveller and Gazette. Tier. James Godolphin, 1832. Unillustrated, I'm afraid. Sidley Park in Derbyshire, property of the Earl of Croom. 500 acres, including 40 of lake. The park by Brown and Noakes has pleasing features in the horrid style, viaduct, grotto, etc. Hermitage occupied by lunatics since 20 years without discourse or companion, save for a pet tortoise, Plautus by name, which he suffers children to touch on request. Tortoise, they must be a feature. The station taxi is at the front. Yes, thanks. Oh, did Peacock come up, chumps? Hermit's name and CV? My dear Thackeray. God, I'm good. Well, wish me luck. Sorry about, and about your... Piss off, Bernard. Right. I don't care to be rubbished by the dustbin man. The what of the lunatic? Huh. That's it. In what? We're all doomed. Oh, yes. Sure, it's called the second law of thermodynamics. By poets and lunatics from time immemorial. No. She didn't discover anything. No. What is? Did Bernard bite you in the leg? You don't know that. End of scene.